So do you really need a business license? Where I live in Centerville, Utah, licenses originally were required. And so when I first started teaching, I had to file a form every year, pay my $50, and have a license saying, yes, I am planning on teaching in my home. I have a home occupation. And then I was in compliance for the year. A few years ago, my city changed their requirements, and now city licenses are not required. I have a wonderful friend and colleague, Deborah Howe, who lives in Santa Monica, California. She told of a quite devastating experience where she lives. They were told, the music teachers were told, that while there was a business license, they were exempted from having to file one because they were just teaching out of their home. Unfortunately, the city decided that that was no longer in effect, and they ended up contacting all of the piano teachers and hitting them with hefty fines. Some of these teachers received massive fines that went back for 20 years. And it became quite a major thing in their city. So Deborah ended up working with the city attorney and getting the majority of those fines waived under the condition that each of the teachers had to file a business license within 3 months or something like that, and pay the fine for the prior 2 years. So it's really important to check with your local government to, one, find out, are business licenses required? Two, if they aren't, to go ahead and check every year. I do check every year to see if they've changed the rules, because what could possibly happen is you could either be fined for not being in compliance, or they could totally shut down your studio, and that's not what you want. It's not what you want. So do check the requirements every year. So even though I'm not required to file a business license, I am required to follow the zoning ordinances in my city, and that's going to be true for each of you too. So basically what a zoning ordinance is it's basically what the city has said. It's ensuring that if people are having a home business in their home, that it's not going to disturb the residential character of the community. And so zoning ordinances in my city, I thought it would be helpful just so that you can see a little bit about what some of those sample ordinances are in my area. They might be similar for you in your area too, but definitely check to see what your ordinances are. So there are several topics that are covered, and I'll go over each one of those. The first one on my city's website, it talks about the type of home occupations that are permitted. So for me to hold a music studio in my home, that is allowed. They allow child daycare facilities, medical facilities, and personal instruction. Teaching piano is considered personal instruction, so I follow that rule. The second in my ordinances include employees that are allowed. So I just started teaching group piano classes. Well, I've decided that I was going to hire, I've been teaching them for a while, but I've decided that I was going to hire a teacher to work with me. After reading the rules, I realized this is actually not allowed, because if you have an employee, the city requires that that employee has to live in your home. So unless you're going to let your employee live in your home with you, it has to be a resident of the home that can teach out of the home. That's at least in my city. So do check yours, make sure that you're in compliance that way.